On June 20th, 2022. Here with us this evening, we have the following members. So,
Phil Robsworth,
Jessica Eagles.
Jesse Wood, zoning administrator.
and Billy Jordan Draper, our town clerk. So, this evening, we start off with change on the agenda, minutes. Bethany Rimmer on the TAP grant, bids, ambulance, Jesse Woods on the armoring update, and then next meeting is the 4th of July, so we've got to make some decisions on what we're going to hold for meetings.
Did you have anything
next
else
month.
besides the armor that you wanted to discuss?
Yeah, I've got just a quick thing. I need signatures for a housing consortium grant thing for bylaw updates, but yeah, that's nothing. Mostly it's just armor.
And then we've got Joey and S&B signatures.
Select
Anything?
board.
Oh. We got anything else that we want to add?
No.
All right then. So we might as well jump right into it. Take a look at our minutes. And
We're done?
nope.
Hey Larry.
Larry Jarvis is our chairperson, and right now we're just reviewing the minutes and moving forward. On Joey Clark, just put down road foreman.
Okay.
On Jesse Woods, probably should give him a title.
Yeah.
And then you want to just, on Riley, you want to just tame, add an E.
Yep.
Should we go through and state the location of these two properties? Or just leave it as that?
Oh, you're in the minutes.
Yeah,
Whatever your pleasure is, I can make changes, that's easy.
well, that way at least it's,
Yeah, fine.
I don't know. Yeah, just throw and
Someone else road.
yeah, an address, road address or something. And then, you know, the thing there about the informational meeting, if we were to put on there non-binding, would that satisfy you? As a
Yeah, sure.
proper,
Central Beach 4, Enosburgh Ambulance Unit Number 2, Enosburgh Fire, please respond. JU Drive at Sampsonville Road for a two-car motor vehicle crash with injury and hazard. Central
I'm gonna get in
Beach
trouble for
4,
parking and
Enosburgh Ambulance Unit Number 2, Enosburgh Fire, please respond. JU Drive at Sampsonville Road for a two-car motor vehicle crash with injury
Joey,
and
did
hazard.
you see what
Central
something
Beach
out
Records
there?
1805.
I didn't see one yet.
They must have just happened, maybe.
Did I create it?
actually,
Oh, really?
No. Where was this?
Larry?
Where
Trying to get in
where
here.
was the location?
Right here.
JV Drive, right out front.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, I was probably, yeah, somebody pulling that in
Yeah.
up there. Or
where's
someday,
Patty's?
someday there'll probably be a light
Where's
or
Patty's?
a roundabout or something.
We're
A roundabout wouldn't be a bad idea, I bet.
We're already on a call.
Can I run to the bathroom?
Yeah.
Sure. Did you raise your hand?
Yes, go to the bathroom.
Aren't you a teacher?
Hi Larry, how
So
you
she
doing?
went to go move the vehicle down there,
I don't know why they're moving them.
No, I think she's just gonna look at the accident.
or? Oh, okay, cause they're gonna say there's plenty, they still can park.
Yeah. I mean, I'll really love you.
You can pull up front. too.
Yeah, it's been a wild one.
Yeah, so we're on, well, not that we're on TV timeout, but I'll move.
I can't, I wasn't at these
Oh,
ones.
okay, okay, yeah, I
I'll
can't
wait for
then.
Jessica to come
So I gotta
in.
wait for Jessica and
No.
Phil.
Sorry, we all left.
Thing is that we got anybody for backup?
Back up for what?
Ambulance.
Oh, I didn't realize, I said, heard unit 2, but sometimes I say unit 2 when unit 1's being repaired, so I didn't know that unit 1 was not.
Well, I can't.
No, it's already on, it's already, I caught it coming up.
I saw it in care cache.
Well,
Yeah.
it should be the second crew out in the world.
Right.
No, because it's four.
Joey take off on us?
Yeah.
Any other corrections, to the minutes of the meeting previously on June 6th?
Nope.
Can I have a motion?
I'll make a motion to accept the minutes for June 6th.
I'll second it.
It's been moved and seconded. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? So passed.
Is Bethany coming in, or is she gonna Zoom?
No,
She's, I
she's
think, coming
supposed to
ready.
be, she's asked me to print, she said I ran out of ink, can you print something, and I wasn't in the office, but I printed from my home printer. Seems kind of like.
Get off my trailer.
Oh,
She should have come over here, she's out.
Oh, right.
Bethany? We had Joey here for a minute, and
Is he going to the rescue?
Yeah.
that was it.
So if you want, might as well scoot on up.
Okay.
Introduce yourself and smile at the camera.
I feel like you were able to print those for
I
me.
did.
Okay, yeah, 'cause I was able to shake the
Do you
cartridge to
have-
get
do
something.
you have- I can give you Joey's to look at it.
Nope, I had enough to
brought
get a
one.
couple,
Okay, I
so.
brought one.
Alright, so the salt shed, the project that won't die. Because we're gonna get it done somehow. Just to recap where we've been, with the salt shed, that we went out to bid January, February of this year. And we just had a shortfall in what the grant, what we had in the grant, versus the lowest base bid. So the town made the decision to reject all bids, and regroup. And we met back in February, we talked about some options, and I just wanted to kind of give an update of where things are at in a possible positive development. But overall, what I would suggest that we start working towards is get final approval from V-Trans on whether, and this is only if you think this is a good idea, but raise the idea with V-Trans about releasing the bids as actually two projects. It's something that Federal Highway allows, but V-Trans hasn't done it in the past. But looking at this project really does have two distinct parts. You have the earthwork with the concrete, and then you have the timber frame. And it seems like releasing it as two would allow contractors that are primarily that concrete to bid on it. And then also, people could bid on both parts, but it gives the town flexibility to then look at the lowest bid in each of the two distinct projects, and then either mix and match contractors. So
are the concrete companies able to do the bidding? Are they certified to do it?
You know, most of the big ones are, you know, I know that we talked about this process in general does exclude,
Who can't bid,
but, you know, looking at some of the people who were plan holders, who got a copy of the bids but who didn't put in a bid, were most likely going to be subcontractors to whoever got the big project. So, you know, V-Trans seemed to think it was an option, but we didn't get a final determination. But I think that is, if the town wants to go that way, it means a little more process. It means that Du Bois and King will have to separate the bid into two distinct release of bids.
yeah.
So there's a little bit of administrative work, but it shouldn't be excessive. The other thing that needs to just happen is the standing seam roof that is in the plans. That was just, it was buried in there. I know it was something that the town's intent from the beginning has always been that corrugated metal,
Yeah.
not standing seam on this gigantic roof.
Yeah, exactly.
So some savings there. The other positive development that happened is you applied for, I think, 130 some thousand in the municipal highway and stormwater mitigation grant program, which we had in hand when we went out to bid. But V-Trans ended up this winter, into early spring, they added an extra 40,000 or so. They had some extra money, so they added to that. So you're, you know, so you got a little bit extra money there. But looking ahead, and I'm trying to be worst case scenario because third time going out to bid, I'm afraid that we hope we didn't poison the well too much of contractors out there. But worst case scenario, looking at, even with timber prices falling some, inflation's still high, gas is still high, you know, so looking at if bids come in 5% higher than they did before, what would that mean for us, even with this additional funds? And, you know, doing some back of the napkin calculations, it looks like about $355,000 is what the shortfall is. You know, that doesn't include your local match that you're using to bring down the grant funds. So the positive development is there's been a pre-pandemic initiative that regional planning has been involved with, whereby the Missisquoi Bay Bridge that goes from Swanton to Alberg had a federal earmark. And there was leftover funding in that earmark that was to be used to remove the Missisquoi Bay Causeway.
Right.
And for many different reasons, V-Trans has stepped away from that from a permitting perspective. It wasn't. And so the compromise for not using the rest of the earmark for removing more of the causeway was that the funding could be used for transportation-related water quality projects. So pre-pandemic, NRPC worked with V-Trans, and we identified a bunch of projects that would be good fits. And the Enosburgh Salt Shed was originally on that list, but at that point, you had plenty of funding.
Right.
So it didn't make the final list of recommendations. Pandemic hit, that project has kind of sat on the shelf, but we've dusted it off, and Catherine made a call today just to check in with V-Trans specifically about this project and whether it could fit with the intent of that earmark money. And really good reception at V-Trans, you know, the idea of using that funding to finish a project as opposed to starting something new.
Right.
So, you know, like, and they didn't balk at about $300,000 for pulling down that funding. So we have a meeting mid-July to kind of firm that up.
You don't know how much total funding that was left over from
Well,
that?
it was always like 2-point-some million.
Oh, okay.
You know, so this is a chunk of it, but it's not,
Right.
It's not like there was only $500,000
Right,
left,
right.
and the town is,
Right.
and again, the salt shed and other salt sheds were on that list that we originally developed, but we just took it off because you had plenty of money, or so we thought. So the other part of that is it is federal dollars. V-Trans has been trying to work on getting clean water funding to cover the non-federal match. There's no guarantee of that. You know, so in fact, unfortunately, it might not be 100%
Well,
funding.
I think it's fine with the town, but, you know, we were thinking, you know, 150 to 180 from the town originally, and
Yep.
before the pandemic, and going through budgeting there, it's like, well, these other numbers that we're looking at is, you know, not sustainable for the budget we have.
No, it was, I think what we looked at before, at the last bid, so back right before town meeting, you were looking at 180,000 additional to draw down all the federal funds that you had at the time, plus the town having to cover 100% of that $318,000 shortfall. And that's not feasible.
No, no, that's what we felt. But yeah, going forward, I know this inflation thing's really, how long is it gonna stretch out? I don't know, but I do know, you know, we've poured some concrete ourselves, that has gone up significantly, and but the process of this will probably be this fall again before you can go out for bids, or
So that, you know, that I kind of want to talk to you about. I don't know how V-Trans would feel if we were bidding in two places, in two parts, about going out to concrete first and getting the bids and then going out to timber. I don't know if that would just be too off of the regular.
yeah.
And again, the one complication is I know Joey's in a particular spot of he starts hauling, is it August?
Yeah.
I think they've already
Yeah,
started.
they've already started some, I think, yeah.
Well, there's a lot of dirt there for
There's a-
something. I
right.
don't know what kind of dirt it is.
Oh, it might be for the
Maybe
road.
it's
for the road.
gravel.
Yeah.
It does look dark.
And I know that the highway department would do whatever they had to in order to,
Right.
Yeah, he will, yeah.
but we also have the reality of, you know, doing something this fall and having a concrete structure that doesn't have a roof and no place to put sand is not really gonna work for Joey. So I think going out to bid in the fall with a spring construction.
Yeah, if we could get, you
As
know,
long as it's
the
before
results out before
December.
our budgets have to be put in.
Yeah.
That's the point that we really need to get to, because you can't adjust the budget after the fact.
Yeah.
And, but
When would you know when that, like, how much and when that money from the leftover project?
So we're looking at a mid-July meeting.
Oh, okay.
But again, our initial, Catherine's initial call with V-Trans on it.
It's
with
pretty
the-
good.
Yeah, with this specific project.
But not 100%, like.
I mean, I can't give
But
you
so when
100%.
will that final, like mid-July, you said?
I would say mid-July is when we
Okay.
could have that
That firm decision?
firm enough commitment that I would say, yes,
Yeah,
town, we have to,
gotcha.
let's get this bid ready, let's go out. The fallback to this all is the clean water service provider funding that is coming to the Missisquoi. I believe it's just over $1 million for this coming fiscal year. And that's HC of Natural Resources kind of shifting how they're dispersing clean water money, that instead of administering all from Montpelier, they're using clean water service providers and giving them the money that then disperse the funds. NRPC is the clean water service provider for the Missisquoi, so doing the administration, but there's a water quality council that will see the projects, see how they're ranked, and decide how funding decisions are made.
Is that the group of people that was just formed last year from regional?
Absolutely, and it's, I think, does Enosburgh have a
We
rep?
do, we have Sarah Downs.
Yes, yep. So I think that's I say that that's a backup money, I mean, that's state funds, it doesn't require a match, so that's very attractive. But we just don't know when the dollars are gonna be able to hit the ground.
Right.
We're kind of planning on maybe December or January, but it feels like that the causeway money is a better thing to pursue,
Mhm. Yeah, sounds,
cause it's sooner.
sounds, yeah, sooner and sounds like there's a flexibility on the amount there.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So, and I know we had some talk about how much could you reduce the footprint, what's the cost, you know, like doing that. Looking around, you know, I looked at Fairfield's, after we met in February, I looked at Fairfield's plans for their salt shed, which is, you know, kind of a comparable size. And, you know, it's kind of that point of how much do you wanna reduce the size of the shed, how much does that actually save when it comes to construction versus, you know, if this is the size that you need for now and for the future,
Right,
not shortchanging.
Hard to add on to it later. too.
Well, the thing is that we
You can't widen it later, so.
yeah, but we wouldn't be adding on later because
Well, that's what I'm saying.
by that
so
time, we're gonna turn into asphalt.
Do it right.
yeah, well, they might be,
We'd be
Some-
using more
some-
salt than sand
Right.
instead. It's still the same
Yeah.
space.
Right. But it would be. We're going to asphalt.
yeah, like, I don't know how much concrete was on the front of the building, outside of the,
Oh, yeah, I
like the apron, and, you know, there may be something there that, maybe we could not do that now, that's something we may add on ourselves later, but the building itself is, you know, when it's done, it's done.
Mhm.
You really wanna stretch it out, or, you don't wanna shrink it more than,
No. Like you said,
No, no.
we want it for what we got at least right now.
yeah. That's too bad Joey had that call, because he probably have some input on it right now. So, if we're capable of splitting it up, concrete bid, structure bid, do you have a list of people that are on the list that can bid for the construction? Are there a lot of carpenters per se in Franklin County that can bid out? Because I felt, I think it'd be more appealing for them to bid on something like that than have to worry about the concrete too.
Mhm.
But then again, how many are on that list?
Yeah, I can look at the,
Capable. And then one step further, is it something that we should have some of our local carpenters try to pursue? How long of a time period to be qualified to be able to put in bids like this, if they want to do a project like that?
I can look at that list, I mean, I think the, I think getting on the authorized list is not the difficult thing, it's a matter of who has the stomach for going, you know, meeting all the federal requirements as
Right.
far as the Davis Bacon wages
Yeah,
and all of that. But I can do some, can look at that a bit.
yeah, if you could just forward us a list of, and then we can see the names and stuff.
Yeah, and it's something, you know, from,
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
educate yourself, but also know that the town, it's not something the town is able to, you know, it, just make sure that you're cognizant of, what am I trying to say? You know, you can't help, you know, a contractor walk through the process.
Right,
You know, just being
Yeah.
clear about that.
yeah.
Sorry, I hadn't.
No, I would just, we bid it out a few times, it's been the same three people, and is the concrete limiting factor for more of the people to apply for the bid process? Or is that it? This is just the main core people that do this kind of work?
Yeah.
That's a question I had there as well.
Who did the one, do you know, you were comparing, was it Fairfield, you said, who did that one?
Fairfield's
So-
unusual.
Oh,
Fairfield was unusual in that they used this type of grant funding to do all the design, and then when they went out to bid, things were way out of their price range, and they ended up doing a lot of the, so they didn't use the federal funds to construct. They used
Oh,
their own
okay,
funds.
that makes sense, so that they could figure out
Yeah.
everything.
So, and between, you know, local talent and,
That
yeah, when
makes
it was
sense.
their dollars,
It was a
and,
joint effort, okay.
yeah, so they're definitely not an example, but we also have.
I was wondering, yeah, maybe you can, there's other companies that are like, oh yeah, we know the Fed or whatever, you know, the funds, like the different white
sure.
tape things or yellow tape things.
And I'll double check with, I did talk with Alan Mashtar in St. Albans, because their shed's even more recent, and they used a little bit of this type of grant funds,
Mhm.
and then they had impact fees, so.
Oh, right, yeah.
But their shed, you know, was in like that 900,000 to 1 point some million. But I'll find out who their contractor was.
I don't wanna make it too complicated, but just, you know, curious, you know, are these the only 3 people that are ever gonna be bidding on it? Cause, you know, if it is, it's like, well, probably isn't gonna make much difference splitting things up, but, maybe it will.
Hey, just out of curiosity, what's your timeframe? Sorry.
My timeframe?
Yeah.
I'm calling into a meeting to get, so they have quorum at 6:30, but do you
Oh,
want me to,
okay.
but I'm gonna do it here. Did you
Oh.
want me to come back when Joey?
Well, I was gonna
Comes
say,
back?
because, not that we're
Okay.
lack of an individual, but if we were to go through and we hit up a couple of other things, and Joey just happens to come back, and if you feel by like 7 o'clock, you wanna book, I mean, giving you some flexibility.
Okay, well, why don't, because again, I'm gonna
Yeah.
join, I'm gonna be quorum for something, and I was gonna take it
Okay.
in the parking lot anyway.
Well,
We don't have to do it in the parking lot.
Well,
Just-
okay,
Make yourself
Yeah.
comfortable in the other room for heaven's
there
sake.
there we
There's a
go.
nice view out there.
okay,
So I'll put my head in at about 7 o'clock and see if Joey's around, and if you're not already, I mean, you're doing ambulance stuff next, so.
well, it's,
Oh,
actually, well, actually,
7:15.
we'll probably do Jessica, but, or someone,
Yeah.
or Bill's, but, yeah,
Okay,
that way it kind of,
sounds good.
see how you drove all the way up here, it's like,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay, so we'll just pause Bethany's, part of the salt shed at 6:30, and we'll open it back up in a half hour or so.
Thank you.
Yeah, see you in a bit.
Yeah, we can,
What are the bids, when it bids for,
we'll
oh, the loader, okay.
go through these real quick. Yeah. File them. These all stuck together. Has he done paving yet?
Yeah, on the bridge.
The bridge.
Yep, the bill's in there.
Yeah, that's what
Uh,
is this
Oh,
both
that's the
voting?
bridge. Hungerford's is further in,
Oh,
under,
okay.
probably under H, but, it was
Okay.
quite pricey.
It was
Mhm.
Quite pricey for the bridge part. I mean, that's all it was a little bit of an apron and a bridge.
Mhm.
My driveway's bigger and didn't cost me that much.
Yeah.
I mean, granted, it was years
The-
ago.
The other route was gonna be more expensive. Getting,
Mm.
yeah.
It's not a big bridge. And I think that's just a partial payment for blowing through.
You wanna go see if Kelly's here?
Yeah.
She would be in here.
Oh,
Who else, Phil?
Bill can't send you.
apparently.
Oh, or- that probably would be a conflict of interest.
Yeah, sure. Wait a minute, what, another zero?
Yes, yes.
Sign the check.
Oh, boy. I can't believe we're already talking about July, August, and September.
I know,
This
time
year
has
is
flown.
just,
Yeah, it's hard to believe the
Crazy.
days are gonna start getting shorter here.
Ugh.
Few days.
We were
Tomorrow.
coming home from
Yeah,
Rouse's
after
Point
tomorrow,
last
maybe.
night
Say,
and
when
it was
is it?
quarter
Yeah,
to 9 and it was
tomorrow,
still
tomorrow
raining.
is
oh,
Day of the
isn't that the
It was
best
so
though?
nice, I was like, I can't believe how
That's
late it
depressing.
is.
Your flowers are so
Thanks,
pretty,
Larry.
by the way.
Yeah, really?
You know,
They're
my
they're different than last year,
my
They
though.
guys
are.
are asking for mud tires
Those
in
are
the
what
middle
we
of summer
We had
I
used
love
those and
for the truck,
black and
so
white
Yeah.
for the wedding.
that's
Black
not
and
a
whites
good
are not in
sign.
my house, so those are.
Those are
That's
For
pretty.
the
all
wind
good,
and the
right.
wedding day, they could be, but they're coming back.
Oh no,
These
they're
are not
really
like
pretty, and then
Yellowstone.
you have your, I'm not a
No.
stalker. Then you have your flower baskets and
That
stuff.
building, you see that building that went
I
in the
just
water
think
there?
that that stuff
I've seen
just
that. I've
adds
been
so
there
much,
that time.
It does.
Oh, really?
you know,
Yeah,
and
I've
that's
been
why
there,
I wish
Not
I
that
could
building, but
do that.
Anyway, kid.
both of them, Red
I
Lodge Field,
tried,
going down the
I
streets,
got a
we
couple
stayed right
hanging
there.
baskets and I
on the
replanted
main
them, but
street.
I don't know if I did it right because I added my own stuff.
Some dirt.
Dirt, yeah, like my
I don't
dirt
worry
and
about
stuff, and
Yeah,
then I
Times and
took
dates
the
because it's
whole
like, I just ordered
basket.
some windows,
You could,
they're
Yeah,
not
but
moving
you got
until
the
November.
plastic.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Oh, you did
I-
right.
So it's like,
So it just seems so off.
It
like-
needs
They
fertilizer.
still can't get the pad mounted transformer over here for tractor
That might be the
supply.
one.
It's a year.
And
So their Dave had to go,
Okay, no, I didn't do
Oh,
that. I just
And
re-
I think
they
it
had to go, we had
needs it
their
like once a week.
pre-construction
You
meeting.
mix it and-
And the pad mount are delayed
Okay.
like 52 weeks. is
Okay, I
what
think
they're
I just
delayed.
did
So
the
they
dirt
gotta go,
and
they're trying to figure out whether they're gonna
fertilizer.
come in from the Franklin Foods Inn or if they're gonna come in from like Jerry Baker's.
Hmm.
But it's all gonna be pole mounted transformers, cause they can't get the pad mounted ones. Yeah, they were saying they literally have to rob from the, so if there's a tractor supply in front of them, if they've got the material, they'll pull it from that one to get this one done.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah, that's how,
Wow.
yeah.
So we can also discuss on, our next meeting falls on the 4th of July. So we typically go for one meeting a month in July, August anyways. I don't know if we wanna pursue that or if there is more, we can always do an emergency meeting.
July, August, and September.
Yeah, September falls on a holiday.
And Labor Day in September. So we'd be like not meeting again till the 18th of July, or we'd move it up a week.
I'd say we move it up a week. Do the following week.
So the 11th. Can I look at this up here?
Yep. So, which,
That would be the 11th?
well, hang on a second here.
Yeah.
Okay, so I think we're scheduled for a joint meeting again,
Oh, right.
July 20th, and that would be at there. So it may be wise to do either just before or just have one that month, because we're gonna be meeting again. Anyways,
So do you wanna do the 18th instead, so?
Did you say July 20th? Did you say? you mean-
July
been-
20th with the village.
Yeah,
Oh, July 20th was the village?
there's a joint one.
it'd be at their meeting,
Is it 19th?
and you have to,
Yeah, why did we pick?
Oh, that's a,
It'd be the 19th.
because they
yeah.
they said they didn't want it to be
Oh,
anybody's
right.
night.
They wanted
Right.
they wanted you guys to have a separate
Oh.
meeting.
It's a separate.
Was that
Okay.
a Thursday?
That's right.
No.
It's a Wednesday.
Wednesday.
So if we have our, would it be too
Yeah.
much to
I
have
don't know
our
if I'm
meeting
back.
the 18th, theirs on the 19th, and then the joint the 20th? Or would that be like crazy?
Theirs isn't the 19th, theirs is,
Oh, it's not?
there's the 12th and the 26th.
Oh, okay, never mind. Oh, the 18th was just our alternative, gotcha.
The third, typically it's first and third week,
Gotcha.
so we were typically gonna meet on the 18th anyhow. But we also have to make sure the 20th is still a viable option for the trustees as well. And it'll have to be warned ahead of time. And I think we start 6:30 on that, or?
They start at 6:30, so I guess. Do you wanna check with Abby tomorrow?
Yep.
And see if it's still an option for them?
And where? Like, would it be, cause
I think it would have to be here, there's this kind of
It's too-
small.
Oh, okay,
It's too tiny
okay, I
down
wasn't
there.
sure,
Yeah.
okay. So we're just deciding if we want the 11th or 18th, right?
Yeah, that's, yeah, just to keep in mind that that other meeting will be
On
happening
the 20th,
also.
yeah.
So,
I don't know, I kinda would rather do the 11th, but that's just me, just so that that's not a crazy.
I'd say the 11th.
Are you already on the 11th though?
Yeah, I think so. I'm leaving that week, leaving Tuesday or Wednesday that week. Day am I leaving? Wednesday for Colorado, so I won't be back till the 19th.
So that
That'll
would
be
be
good
better
then.
than
Yeah,
the 18th.
Alright.
Okay.
Well, we're not done, we haven't figured out August and September.
You wanna do that now, or you wanna?
Yeah,
So we're doing the 18th?
It's a tentative.
The 20th?
Ow.
yeah, let's try it now, because I'm sure between DRB
Maybe,
and.
no, we're doing the 11th, right?
Yeah, and
Vacations.
Not really?
No.
I
Oh,
know
vacations,
I'll be
yeah.
doing a vacation in August, and typically
vacation.
that's, I think I'd be okay the 15th of August.
Kinda right in the middle of the month,
That works for me.
yeah,
Okay.
okay.
I'll have to check.
You said the 15th?
I'll have
Can
to
you
check
send
with,
all this out?
Yeah.
I'll have to check with the boss to make sure that's not. So we'll go August 15th in September.
Oh, okay, Labor Day's on the 5th. Maybe we just have the 19th, our regular one, that one.
Yeah, when we have our meeting in August, we may know what's on our agenda, and
Oh, that's
we may
true.
have to add another meeting in there, so maybe we can just stay for the third Monday in September for now, and address it in August if we have to. Alright. How come I can't get it in on the reminders?
What is this one?
What's the third Monday in September?
19th,
19th?
September 19th?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I was looking at Monday, or Sunday.
Okay. Tentatively joint, so yeah, just those.
Did we set an agenda for that? I can't remember. Or is it just a joint?
For the
Like,
joint one,
Do we have
It
things?
should-
we'll
that
have
we
to
wanna-
give them a couple ideas
Okay.
and then they throw out a couple ideas.
Okay.
And
I thought
then
that's what we
decide.
did last time.
We knocked that down. That's, I need Joey for that. So we got Jesse. We got bids, which I completely didn't have time to think about it, so looks like we only got one bid.
Just the one, just the one.
Really?
You wanna, or I could do that one, and I'll recuse myself because I was gonna bid, but Not that I forgot, but it was just too busy.
Yeah, but, so you still would even, if you did?
We have quite a few loaders, but
Oh, okay.
to me, it was a good deal.
Oh, no, you might recuse yourself, I didn't know if you still had to, because you did. Yeah.
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 Awesome.
Mhm.
Cool, done.
All right then, so it's one of those of, we had inquired on, having a big go out for our loader that's used over at the town garage, and it looks like the bid came in and there was one, and we just probably need a motion for acceptance.
Well, I guess we have the right to refuse any and all bids depending on the
Right,
bid. Guess, I don't know what it is.
So
We'll
do we-
look at it,
I
yeah.
recuse myself, so I don't know what that is. Depending on,
Okay.
Yeah.
So we would make a motion to accept the one bid, basically, right?
Yep.
Yeah. I'll make a motion to accept the bid that was presented tonight.
I will second that bid, that.
we'll have to say who the proprietor's gonna be or not? Okay, no, so it's moved and seconded that we accept the bid for the purchase of our so-called old loader, and we'll welcome a new.
has the new one showed up yet?
I think it is. It's in Vermont. It's not at our place.
We were just waiting for this.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? So passed.
Yeah, we just had one loader that, both axles had to be replaced. $30,000.
Oh.
Oh, I just got.
Put a bottle loader for that.
Axles? What are those? Those are the, what,
Where the wheels are hooked on the back and the front.
Oh, no.
That's a hit and a half.
And that's with us searching it out ourselves because the company was at 50,000.
I'm like, 30,000 for an axle?
Yeah, it was two.
Oh my gosh.
Mhm.
Nothing in
How
the
was
budget
it?
for that, Larry.
Were you able to find it, Larry?
Yeah, so,
Oh my
But
goodness.
we've got like 5 loaders.
Oh, I guess you got a question.
No, I was just curious if you were able to find the parts. All right.
Yeah, it was through a company in
way to do it.
Western New York who
I think that loader
Has-
is worth more money.
outlets all over the country. I think it's coming out of
Windows,
California.
Furniture today.
But that's always the other thing, is trying to find parts,
If I see another
you know,
question,
everything.
you know, like I want
And
to
that-
attach.
and ours is 624, and because it's a little bit
4,000,
newer,
I need to know.
there's not so many in the junkyard.
Because I have
Oh,
no idea.
right.
So-
I was
Oh,
thinking
yeah.
about trying to get
We went to Big Lots.
how you.
You wanna put this on?
Oh, it's so
But I have to have
expensive. Oh, yeah, is it, does that?
Alright, so, why don't we have Jesse step up and
Nothing.
have the armory update?
I can't stand.
So a few different things,
That's what our dog too, he was.
kind of feel like we're beating a dead horse here, but we do have some slow progress coming. Back in, I guess it was May, we did the armory asbestos, lead and asbestos abatement. We met with, well, first off, I should rewind. That scope of work, there was only 3 contractors in the entire state that could do that. Do that job, basically taking the windows out, and then doing a whole lead dust wipe after. So we met with, there's 3 contractors, one of them didn't even want to do the job. The other 2 came up and did the walkthrough. And we ended up only getting 1 actual bid out of the 3. So that was kind of the bad at the beginning, but the good in it. So Catamount came in as the only bidder and considerably lower than what was originally budgeted. Because if you remember, it was $67,500 was budgeted, so it came in it's like 31,000. So
Oh, so these are two
Yeah, so
separate,
they've
they
got
have
it
to
broken
get-
down into, yeah, the first one is for the windows, and the second is the lead dust wipe. And the lead dust wipe is, I mean, they dust everything, clean the floors, clean top to bottom, bottom to top with everything. There was supposed to be a contract for you guys, Greta hadn't written that up, but still, I mean, we don't obviously have to accept it, but we have to do somebody, and, you know, being that it's almost half, then, you know, it's good, but we will have a contract. Greta's gonna drop a contract. I have been in talks with Catamount, this Bart Jacobs. We're on I mean, obviously you guys do have to choose it, but we are on his schedule because that was my fear that he wasn't gonna have time. August 22nd is when they're gonna start. They're thinking roughly 2 weeks is what it's gonna take. Working with him right now too to figure out the timeline of the windows. So ideally it would be nice if Merrill could come right behind and put windows in rather than plywood and screwing around. And
Right.
so I'm just waiting back from this Bart to let me know what he's thinking, like how many windows he can do a day. He's, like I said, he's thinking six days to do windows, and then the rest is gonna be the lead dust wipe. We're gonna have to remove all the stuff that's in there, all the stuff that we've, you know, the wreck stuff that we kept in there, all those things we have to, that's been moved, the wreck stuff. There's some other little things that we gotta take out of there, but basically we wanna get that out of there. These guys would have moved it, but it would have cost us more money. So basically I promised them when they get in there that it's gonna be a clean, empty building. So we had the JRTC kids in there one day, and they took a bunch of stuff and put it in the shed, so.
Yeah.
Is there more stuff in there, you said?
Yeah, there's a little bit more stuff. I got it on skids right now, so what I'm gonna do is I got access to a pallet jack,
Yeah.
so I'm gonna leave the pallet jack, cause there's still some of like Eric Rainville's materials and stuff in there, there's conduit, and so it's all on skids. And I talked to this John guy from, the guy who did the original abatement, the packet, or where they so I can't even remember the name of the company, but he said that should be fine. Then that way those guys, they
Wheel
can
it in
wheel it,
every
they
day.
can move it, you know. Cause like I said, everything is all on skids. Chairs are still in there, but that's all again skids and rollies. So I just need you guys, if you guys wanna make a motion to accept that bid, and then we will have a contract to sign in the future. Greta is on vacation right now. Like I said, I was hoping that Greta was gonna have that contract for you guys, but we'll have it on the time she gets back. And the other nice part is, you know, our match originally was gonna be for $11,250, so it's gonna be considerably less, so it should be right around 4,800 now, the match should be. So, yeah. So that was
That's about the only positive thing we've
Yeah.
had so far.
Yeah.
that was the
It's all
scary.
uphill from here.
We're having just the one and the one
Yeah.
bid, and the other guy, this wasn't even the guy this was the guy that came late. The other guy that came, he was like, oh yeah, this is straightforward, no problem, but he never submitted a bid, so I don't know. One of the things we learned out of this, I wish we would have separated the bids. You were talking about it earlier, Larry, like with concrete versus, you know, wood. If we had bid out the windows as one, and then we had bid out the lead dust, this John guy from, I think it's K&D, he said we would have got a lot more hits on things.
Oh.
But the good part is, I feel good because we're half of what the original quote, what the quote was.
Yeah.
You know, but it would have been interesting if
And
we
he's-
separated those out.
And it should be done before the end of the summer.
Yeah, oh yeah. Like I said, we're on the books for, I got an email from him, for, like I said, for August 22nd, and it's gonna be 2 weeks, so.
So what would be the next phase after that this is?
So, well, that's the next thing to discuss.
Well, let's,
Do you wanna make a
If you- I
motion?
was gonna say, if you wanna do that
finish this
first,
up
yeah.
first. Yeah, so we have the bid proposal and quotes from Catamount Environmental, and wait for motions to accept.
I'll make a motion. To accept the bids for the asbestos abatement and the lead weight down of the armory.
I'll second it.
Bill made a motion, Pierre seconded the motion. Any more discussion? We have none. All those in favor of accepting this bid, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay.
So the next thing, is we've been waiting for plans from the architect, the certified plans for the architect to be done, so then we can submit them for our building permit from the state. So I've been in contact with Laz, we've got those plans. The snafu in all of this is that big room being 5,000 square feet. We were told originally we didn't need to have sprinklers and air exchangers, and now Laz is telling me he had a conversation with the assistant fire marshal and he is saying we do have to have them. So I reached out after talking with Eric Rainville, the electrician, and chatting with him. I reached out to Bill Brown, who is Jeff's boss, who is he's the regional state fire marshal, to basically, you know, it's a brick building. It's, I mean, you know, we're not going to see basically anything over 300 occupancy in that room requires sprinklers and air exchangers, and they're looking at it from, it's 5,000 square feet. If you're a standing person, you require 7 square feet around you. If you're a sitting person, it's like 16 or 18 square feet around you. So they use those numbers and divide it out by the square footage, and it doesn't matter if you're ever going to have them, but you have the quote-unquote capacity to have that. So, like I said, I reached out to Bill and told him, I said, I'd like to have a meeting and I'd like reconsideration on this. So, we are meeting Thursday. Bill's going to be there, Jeff is going to be there, Dennis, the electrical inspector, is going to be there. Still waiting to hear back from Laz. Hopefully Laz is going to be there. Obviously I am.
What time?
10 o'clock. If you guys, if one or two of you would like to come as well, we can.
I'm hoping that at least one of you can go.
But if one can.
I think we need to beg and plead at this point and say, we will put up signs that say that we won't have.
Right.
You know,
Right.
we've never had a town meeting where we even met 150.
Mhm.
So it's not a promise that we can't keep, we certainly can keep it, but we have to ask before we dive into that project. We won't be in there for a year if we have to put sprinklers.
And the
Oh,
cost
and so
was-
it's just the
And the
time?
cost.
it's the cost of it. So when
Cause I was
we,
just like,
There's no sprinklers in there at all now?
No.
and I asked
And
the
that's the thing, it
question,
was good enough for the state and
Right.
the army and
and what I was told was that the National Guard had a different set of building codes than we have, because it's a federal thing and something to do with that. And I posed the question to Laz, just like when you go into a restaurant, you go into any building where it says the capacity is, 150. I said, well then let's just slap a thing on there, it says 299 people then, boom, I argued the point that there were tanks in there, there's artillery in there was guns in there was bullets in there,
Very flammable.
It's a concrete building. I mean, the only thing, those rafters in the middle, those laminate rafters in the middle are wood, but other than that, you don't have, you've got, like you brought up the point, there's a giant garage door on the end for exiting, there's,
Two double doors out front.
right, we're adding an additional, one of the requirements of the code is where you walk into the building, the rec room we're gonna have on the right there, we have to, because of the square footage, we have to add a door to that. Okay, so we've got ample outs in that area.
so what is the meeting, if you have to do it, what is the meeting about?
So the meeting is basically, we're just going to the top
You want for
guy.
a second opinion?
Second opinion
Oh,
is
so
what we're
you're,
doing.
it's still
Upper
not
manager.
decided yet?
if you do
Oh.
this, this and this, will you still?
You can't just move in and still have them do, just not use that room for,
Oh, you mean just shut off the?
just that one
You
that's
wouldn't be
over
able to
5,000.
access, you wouldn't really be able, because the perimeter offices, it'd be kind of a funky design. You'd have to go through
Oh, I didn't
everybody's office to
realize.
get
Okay.
To the bathroom.
to get to the
Gotcha.
bathrooms, you actually wouldn't even be able to, you'd have to go out to get to the bathrooms.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so.
We wanna be able to use it, we just have to.
Well, that's the thing,
We just
yeah,
have to
it's
be
it's too bad you
creative
can't
and-
have what's it called, like a waiver for the
Right,
first
and
until you can
that's-
get it,
Right, and
like you're working on it kind of thing.
I've heard of situations with waivers. St. Albans had an issue with a banister with I know it's not quite so, it was a little thing, but St. Albans had They had to put up a separate railing they had this beautiful banister and they put up this separate railing and whatever. Long story short, if they had requested a waiver, they would have never had to put that on there. The beautiful banister wouldn't have been ruined that way. So it happens, it is, it's definitely done, so we just have to ask the question and just try to press them.
What do we have to do so we don't have to do that?
Right, exactly. What it has to be signed.
If we have to do that, do we start going around the state of Vermont and checking buildings like this that don't have them in there? And then-
Right.
Cause if we have to, there's
I
gonna
mean,
be a
the
lot of
building
people
is
mad. in the state of
Literally
Vermont.
made of concrete.
What would the time, I'm just curious, why a year? Like, I mean, like,
Well,
why
I just threw it out there.
Oh,
No, we
like-
don't know.
like,
yeah.
what if it only took a couple, like, what if it was a short time period?
I'm
But
I'm
it's
it's
the
gonna be
hundreds
the
of thousands that
cost.
it's gonna cost.
Oh, and that we know that that's the cost?
So when we went for the initial walkthrough, the inspector, the plumbing inspector, she asked what water line we had coming in there. In order to have a sprinkler, you're required to have a 6-inch main. Well, I don't know anyone who has a 6-inch main of water coming into there. So
So
I
it's
think
more
we have
than
an inch and a
just-
half or 2 inch
yeah.
coming into that. So you've gotta have pumps and you've gotta have a whole.
And it's a big,
Many feet of
Big.
piping and
Maybe
Yeah.
they
a
have
lot of nozzles,
alternatives, like, maybe there's alternative
like a
to
fire department.
sprinklers or.
Right.
No.
I mean, that's
No,
serious,
exactly.
we're
I meant
minutes away.
indoor though,
Well,
like
I
maybe there's
wonder-
a.
if we couldn't have Mark go, do you think that would help? Do you think it wouldn't have any bearing
Yeah.
or
That's-
assistant chief like Jody or something? I don't know.
What's in the street? I don't know for sure what's in the street right there. You're talking the armory?
We're talking the armory, yeah, we're meeting with Bill Brown, the head fire marshal there, and on Thursday, and we're just gonna basically plead, can we put up a sign, can we just,
They
consider it?
want us to.
Where's the
Consider.
closest hydrant?
I could think on the corner of Church.
Yeah,
So there we go. 5-6
I
minute
don't-
response.
that's a good
Hook to a
question, what
hydrant.
that main is.
Yeah.
I'm gonna
Directly
ask
pumping
Dan.
out of the truck.
I don't know what that main
Mark could
is.
tell you, or
Yeah.
he could tell you what that probably
Yeah.
was.
Well, I mean, the town can't afford, it was a free building, but we put
Right.
money into it.
Yeah.
We can't
So what
afford
did they tell
what
you?
they're talking about.
They want
for that.
air exchangers and sprinklers, because it's anything over a capacity of 300, they want that. And I had Aaron, when we were talking about replacing the modines inside the big room, he was gonna do a roof mount unit, which you could put an air exchanger, and I mean, he came back with a quote of what was $115,000 just for the air exchanger, heat melt thing, and then you're talking, I'm guessing, like Eric said, 150 at least for a sprinkler system, at least, depending. So,
Must be another hydrant on Dollar General side right there, when that went in,
yeah.
I was. So what, you don't know what's in the street?
I don't know I'll have to ask Denton what is in the street there. I don't know if that's I don't know what they've got there.
When is the meeting?
Thursday.
There's,
Oh,
Thursday at
Thursday.
10.
yeah, I think if you could reach out with Mark,
Yeah.
Yep,
give him a heads up, give him a little,
yep,
uh,
yep. The
pointers
more
on-
we can have, the better. The more yeah.
I mean, he's a good one too, because he trained in that building for 30+
Right.
years.
Exactly.
Right.
Yes.
It'd be interesting to see why the army has different regulations. I don't know,
I
I'm
don't-
just curious.
The government doesn't follow the same rules as people.
Right.
I'm just curious what their
Right.
regulations are, no sprinklers, no.
Well, it's probably the fact that you've touched the place, right?
Yeah.
Right, change of use,
Done some work.
right,
Renovated, so now,
Yeah.
no set of rules start
yeah.
falling into place, what
Yeah.
was grandfather probably now.
That's what, when we did that initial walkthrough with Dennis and Jeff and I can't remember their name.
So I'll try to make it on Thursday.
Well, that would be a
I'm
good
not
point.
quite sure what my
Like, we
schedule
went
is, but
forward thinking it was grandfather.
I think it's a little
you
more
know.
manageable this week.
Right, well, see, Laz had told me originally,
you were
the
available
architect,
now.
he had said, he goes, oh, no, you don't need them,
Right.
and then that's when we went
Yeah.
back.
Yeah, I might.
We just can't have
Depends on the
three of
weather.
us, we can only have two of us.
Two of you guys, yeah.
Yeah. You see?
If it's raining, I'll be there.
It ain't gonna be raining.
We're gonna have to go to the Dairy Center for breakfast.
But the only other, the plans are, the rest of the plans are done. I have copies, they're ready to go, it's just a matter of whether we need that air exchanger or sprinkler thing. He sent me copies a week and a half ago, something like that, and that's when, yeah, he had mentioned it in the email. He said we can't get around it, so.
Oh, weather changed already. Cool.
Yeah, well, yeah, good luck with that meeting, you know.
Thank you.
We'll see what happens.
So they feel what's in there for piping isn't adequate for sprinkler system? Oh.
She said that it had to be a 6-inch. I don't know where you have a 6-inch coming into a building. I mean, that, I don't know. I mean, I think it's 1.5 inches or 2. I can't remember. It's 1.5 inches or 2 inch in there. So,
Bethany's gonna poke her head in a little bit to see if you were back.
Oh,
And if you had
she's
any
been here already?
questions. She's still here.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Is that it on that?
that's all, yeah. That's the big thing.
Well, we still get you
Yeah.
on
That's where they all have to stay.
Just have that over here then.
planning commission meeting Wednesday.
Yes.
I missed the last 2 meetings and I don't know how much, have you guys got the information of?
We had
was it
talked
a
briefly,
30-page document or something?
What are we talking about? I'm sorry.
the planning
Wednesdays.
commission Wednesday, like,
Oh, I can drop it off to Lori and she can bring it home to you.
Okay, yeah, cause,
They say if you need a crash course too, Eric, if you have a second, I can call you and I've read that back to front, front to back, so.
yeah,
If you need just a little bring you up to speed on what's going on there.
and I
So.
think we did an overview right before. I think you had got here, we talked a little bit, so we can, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
oh, before I got
That'd be
here.
good- Yeah,
Yeah.
before,
Oh,
it'd be good for
okay.
you
Yeah.
to,
Tonight,
just to summarize kind of.
yeah, okay. Alrighty, so Bethany's not in yet?
No.
Alright, so we'll get, if that's it on that bullet point, we'll move on to the ambulance with Kelly Kubota. Feel this is gonna be executive or? I don't know what's going
I
on.
don't know, either.
Probably,
think
yeah, we
exactly.
probably should. Yeah, I'll move.
I'll second.
This is on personnel.
Yeah, personnel.
So, motion's been made, seconded to go into executive session for personnel. Discussion? Any more discussion? If having none, all those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Right.
All those opposed, say nay. So approximately 7:05.